Let's get it, guys. This is Lesky and I have another playstyle tutorial for FC25. This time we're going to look at the power of pinged pass and all the different ways to use it. After y'all watch this video, I'd recommend taking a look at the rest of my playstyle tutorials. I even made a playlist with all of them in it so y'all can easily find the videos. Throughout this video, I'll be showing y'all some clubs gameplay of me utilizing pinged pass. In those clips, I'm actually using the KDB build I made, which has really good passing and is a perfect build to test out the type of passes I'm going to show y'all in this video. So to start, let's look at the details of pinged pass to see exactly what it does. These are the descriptions EA provides us for both pinged pass and pinged pass plus. So the first one says, passes travel faster along the ground without impacting the trapping difficulty of the receiver, and the only difference for pinged pass plus is passes travel much faster along the ground without impacting the trapping difficulty of the receiver. Then I also found some more information on pinged pass when I went to EA's website when they first released playstyles in FC24, and it gives us some more valuable information about the playstyle. So it says it increases speed for non-first time ground passes, and I'll go over that a little bit more once we get to actually talking about the different types of passes you can make. Increases pass quality, allowing pass receiver to have increased ball trapping control, increased accuracy on driven passes, and reduced time to contact with the ball for driven ground passes. And this is also pretty important if you want to improve pinged pass and increase the overall effect of the playstyle, then you'll want to upgrade short passing and long passing. So that is basically what pinged pass does, but that doesn't really explain how to use it in game, and that's my main purpose for these tutorial videos. There's so many different buttons and inputs in FC25 that the average player probably doesn't even know about. I want to show y'all all the ways to take advantage of pinged pass to help y'all become better players. So the next thing I want to do is look at different types of passes that pinged pass will improve. Right now I'm in the practice arena, and if I press start and go to button help, we can look at the passes. So the first one is just the basic A on Xbox or X on PlayStation ground pass. And yes, pinged pass will affect this pass as long as it's not a first time ground pass. If we go back to those bullet points that I was reading off, the very first one says increase speed for non first time ground passes. So it will work for those just basic ground passes, even if pinged is not popping up over your head, but it won't work on a first time ground pass. And I think the main reason for that is because a tiki taka has something to do with that. Then for the rest of the passes, they're all going to be driven passes. And this is really where you'll see pinged pass make a difference. So if I go over one, we should see most of the driven passes. So the first one I want to talk about is the driven ground pass. So it's just A on Xbox, X on PlayStation, but you also have to hold RB on Xbox or R1 on PlayStation. And this is a driven ground pass. It's basically the same thing as a normal ground pass, but it's just faster and more driven on the ground, obviously. The driven ground pass is probably the most common driven pass used by people, and a lot of y'all watching this video probably already know about that, but some other ones that y'all probably don't know about is the driven lob pass right here. Driven lob pass and driven cross, which is LB-RBX on Xbox and L1-R1 square on PlayStation. And this will actually pop the ball up in the air like a lob pass, but it's going to be very driven, almost like a line drive, kind of like waist, stomach height, maybe chest height. It kind of varies. And this one can be really good just to switch the field, or also to use it kind of like a cross, as it says, driven cross. And it just whips it, doesn't really whip it actually, because there's not a ton of curve. It kind of just drives it in the box and gets it where you want it. And it can be pretty good. And then the next one is the driven ground cross, which is basically the same thing, but instead of just pressing X or square once, you're actually going to double tap it and it's going to go on the ground. It's a driven ground cross. And if you know how to do the ground cross, which is just the normal double tap X or square, it's basically the same thing as that, but it's just faster and even better, honestly. And all you got to do is just hold LB and RB or L1 and R1. And then the last one is actually under attacking simple for some weird reason. And if I go down right here at the very bottom, driven through pass, and this is LBRB or L1R1, and Y on Xbox or triangle on PlayStation. And this is a through ball where it'll basically hit it into space for a player to run onto it. And this can be really good to split a defensive line and get someone in behind one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And I actually did mention this type of pass in my incisive pass tutorial video because incisive does affect it, but pinged pass impacts it even more because it is a driven pass. So now what I like to do in these tutorial videos is go to the practice arena and show y'all these types of passes. So right now I have Alexis McAllister on Liverpool, and he has pinged pass plus. So I have Salah next to me, and for the first one, it's just going to be the basic ground pass, not doing a driven ground pass or anything like that. So just A on Xbox, X on PlayStation, and it will speed up the pass. Ping pass or ping pass plus will. It's just not going to pop up over your head. And again, it's not going to make a difference for the first time ground passes because not too sure why, but I think it's because of tiki taka. So that is just the basic ground pass, not much to it. And then next is going to be where you'll really notice the speed in the pass, which is the driven ground pass, which is again RBA or R1X on PlayStation. And this is really good for like really lots of different positions, but especially like midfielders, even like a CDM, just to like split defenders, split a gap and break those defensive lines with passes. Especially say like Salah's playing striker or something, and I have him right here. There's a defender on his back, and say there's like just defenders in between us, and I just want to get it to him as fast as possible. I RBA it to his feet, and then you can do like a move or whatever, and then take a shot. So that's really good for that. You also say you're just going down the line, and you can just RBA it right here. But you'll see that it didn't really lead him. It kind of went behind him or like directly at him. And that's where the next types of passes are going to be good, like the driven lob pass, the driven cross, or the driven ground cross. So now I want to do the driven lob pass, and you'll see what that looks like if I just do it immediately. Little LBRBX or L1R1 square, you'll see, and you can even make it like a cross if you just do this, and it actually looks pretty nice. And it just gets to the target faster. And especially if there's like no one in front of Salah, there's no defender in between me and Salah, and he's just there kind of like almost like a sweaty cross, you can do that. In some of the gameplay I'm showing y'all, you'll actually see me use this driven lob pass further back on the pitch and almost like a straight on pass to my striker, a little bit at an angle. And I'll also be doing Trivela. And for some reason, when you do a Trivela, it feels like it goes even faster and gives you like a little bit of dip, and it is very good. It almost looks like a through ball at times, and I was able to easily find my striker and get that pass to them very quickly. And as long as they're not like a defender in that path of the pass trying to intercept it, you should be good. We can now move on to the next type of pass, which is the driven ground cross, and this is basically the same thing I just showed y'all. But instead of pressing X or square once, you're actually going to double tap it. And this is only going to be useful for situations where you need to cross the ball. So it's just going to drive it on the ground, and you'll see that's what that looks like. It does look pretty similar to the driven ground pass, but you can only do this pass in the zone. So you can do the RBA right here, but you can't do the double tap like out of the zone. You'll see it just did a lob pass because I'm not in the zone, so it's not registering the double tap. But if you get in the crossing zone, which should be like in this range right here, do a little bit of a double tap, and that's what that looks like. And it basically leads Salah so he can run onto the ball and get a nice finish, where if you do like a driven ground pass in this situation, it'll go more towards Salah, like right there, and it'll almost like stop him in his tracks. And now the last pass I'm going to show y'all is the driven through pass, which requires pressing Y on Xbox or triangle on PlayStation and holding down the bumpers. And this is basically a through ball on the ground that hits it into space behind the defenders for a player to run onto. And I'll show you right here, passing this to Salah. you'll see it hits it quite a bit into space, and Onana is actually insane and is able to get to that. So that one wasn't a very good example, but you'll see that's kind of what that looks like. So now I brought a defender in here, and I wanted to give y'all an example of what it looks like where you hit it around the defender and it goes into space where your player can run onto the ball. So this is what that looks like. It's actually really nice. It's basically just passing it into the space that the defender is leaving. See if I can do it again. And then that's that. You can also use it for just hitting it down to the line. So say right here, I tell Salah to go down the line and it just feeds it to him for him to get onto the ball. You can even do a double tap with this pass where it pops it up a little bit, and it's the same as like a double tap ground pass or a double tap through ball, but it's basically just a double tap driven through ball. So let me show you guys what that looks like. Do a little double tap LB-RB or L1-R1, and it's actually pretty nice. It just pops it up, but it's even faster than like a normal double tap that y'all might be used to, and I actually did showcase in the incisive pass tutorial. But this time you just hold down the bumpers while doing it, and that's what that looks like. It's actually pretty nice. I really like doing the double tap, but I've never really done the double tap with pinged pass while holding down the bumpers. So that is a very advanced type of pass, honestly. So that'll do it for this pinged pass tutorial video. Let me know if this video is helpful for you. And if you didn't know some of this information that I provided y'all, hit that like button on this video and then hit that subscribe button on my channel if you haven't already done so. As always, y'all have a great rest of y'all's day and peace out.